In the quiet air of the Vatican, under the soft light that filters through stained glass windows, a new chapter in the Church's long story has begun. Just a day after the white smoke rose above the Sistine Chapel, signaling the election of Pope Leo XIV, the world is already watching closely. Whispers and questions echo across newsrooms, coffee shops, and digital comment sections. Who is this man now sitting on the chair of Peter? What will his leadership mean for the Church, for the world, and for each person seeking truth in today's chaos? In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 10, Jesus offers a powerful warning and a call to courage. He says, "Behold, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be wise as serpents and innocent as doves." These ancient words feel alive again in our time, especially now as the Church enters a moment of delicate transition. In this world of noisy debates and clashing ideologies, the arrival of a new pope is never just a religious event. It becomes a moment of cultural reckoning, of spiritual reflection, and yes, of political curiosity. But above all, it should be a moment of stillness, a pause to listen. It has been barely a full day since Pope Leo XIV stepped into his role, yet already opinions have begun to rise. Some voices are quick to praise him as a fresh hope. Others express concern, even fear, painting him with ideological labels before he has spoken more than a few public words. But perhaps now, more than ever, it is important to resist the urge to label, assume, or speculate. A new papacy is not a final judgment, it is a beginning. And beginnings, especially sacred ones, deserve the gift of patience. History reminds us that early impressions can be misleading. Headlines do not define a man. True leadership, especially spiritual leadership, unfolds slowly, through action, through quiet decisions, and through consistent witness. Some of the Church's most remarkable popes began their ministries under a cloud of doubt, only to shine with clarity over time. We must give Pope Leo XIV the same chance. Let the story unfold before deciding how it ends. Still, even in this first day, something is visible. There are gestures, small but sincere, that reveal a heart rooted in humility. There are signs of a shepherd rather than a ruler. And while some remain cautious, there is reason to believe that this pope is stepping into his role not with a hunger for power, but with a desire to serve. Truth matters now more than ever, not truth shaped by fear or excitement, but the kind that stands quietly and waits to be seen. It is tempting in this age to demand instant clarity, but in the Church, clarity often comes through prayer, through silence, and through time. What comes next will not be shaped by online arguments or hasty predictions. It will be written in how Pope Leo XIV leads, in how he speaks to the broken-hearted, in how he stands for truth when it is inconvenient. Many have drawn comparisons. Already, some ask whether this moment feels like the election of Pope Francis years ago. Back then, a man from Argentina was introduced to the world with assumptions that later proved incomplete. He was thought to be deeply conservative, yet his papacy revealed a different kind of leadership, one that confused some and inspired others. Today, we hear the same whispers about Pope Leo XIV. Is he liberal? Is he traditional? Is he the bridge between the two? But perhaps we are asking the wrong questions. Maybe it is not about political labels. Maybe what matters is something older, something deeper. Faithfulness to truth, clarity in doctrine, and compassion in action. So far, this new pope appears grounded. Early reports suggest that while he may hold moderate views on some worldly issues, he is firm in theological tradition. But again, it is only day one. First impressions are not the full picture. Discernment is not a passive act. It means watching closely. It means listening with both mind and heart. And it also means stepping back from the edge, avoiding extremes that either idolize or demonize before the journey has even begun. We must not turn this new leader into a hero or a villain. He is a man entrusted with something holy. As we wait to see what this papacy will bring, the faithful are turning to prayer. Many have taken up their rosaries again, offering quiet hopes for wisdom, strength, and courage. Not just for the Church, but for the Pope himself. Prayer does not replace critical thought. It enhances it. It sharpens the soul. Through grace, we often find the answers that logic cannot provide. Already, some criticisms have surfaced. Questions about Pope Leo XIV's past work in places like Chicago and Peru are being raised. Some media outlets have painted these stories in bold colors, hinting at controversy. But upon closer inspection, many of the claims lack full context. Misunderstandings are common when people rush to judgment. In time, the Vatican may choose to address these matters more directly. For now, the Church invites the world to hold both eyes and hearts open. Watchfulness is wise, but fairness is essential. What is visible so far suggests a return to something sacred. His first public Mass was not flashy. It did not include many of the modern elements we have come to expect. In fact, it was the absence of spectacle that stood out. The setting was reverent, the tone was quiet, and the symbols used were more traditional, reminders of the Church's spiritual roots. Before giving his homily, Pope Leo XIV offered a gentle reminder from the Psalms. "I will sing a new song to the Lord, for he has done marvelous things." He didn't claim this truth as his own. He offered it as a shared prayer for the whole Church. His words were filled not with politics or promises, but with grace, with unity, and with the deep sense that he was standing in a line of faith stretching back through the centuries. He quoted the famous confession of Peter, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." In doing so, he anchored his first message in the unchanging truth of Christ, the same truth handed down from generation to generation. This wasn't a campaign speech, it was a meditation, a call back to the roots of the gospel. Pope Leo XIV spoke of God's closeness not as an abstract idea, but as a presence revealed in human life, in the eyes of children, in the wisdom of the elderly, in moments of silence, sorrow, and joy. This wasn't a strategic message, it was a pastoral one, a reflection on the beauty of the gospel lived, not just preached. And still, the question remains, who do people say that the Son of Man is? Jesus first asked this question in Caesarea Philippi, a place filled with wealth, beauty, and political power. Surrounded by temptation and influence, he challenged his disciples to speak the truth. Pope Leo XIV reminded us that today we face the same question and the same challenge. Some people today view Jesus as irrelevant, a relic of the past. Others admire him, but only as a moral teacher. They walk with him as long as it costs them nothing. But when sacrifice is required, they fall away. Pope Leo XIV did not offer easy answers. Instead, he urged us to consider how the Church responds today. How does the Church answer Jesus' question, not just in words, but in action? In many places, faith is seen as outdated. The world often chooses pleasure over truth, comfort over sacrifice. In these moments, the gospel is hardest to live, but also most needed. Where faith disappears, so does meaning. Where truth is silenced, human dignity suffers. Families break. Wounds, both physical and spiritual, go untreated. Pope Leo XIV's words were not dramatic. They were steady. A call to remain faithful even when the world grows cold. The Church's mission does not shrink in hard times. It deepens. It grows. Because in every generation the same question echoes, who do you say that I am? Each of us must answer. Each parish, each bishop, each family, and yes, each pope. This new pontiff has made his answer clear, not through grand gestures, but through a humble beginning.